Where tyranny reigned in darkness, thunder would roar, and fate would carve the sky with light. Before time had names, before the mountains bore trees or oceans knew tides, there was only chaos. It was not a god, but a womb, vast, silent, brooding. From this void, primordial forces awakened. Gaia, the earth, fertile and patient. Uranus, the sky, vast and arrogant. Together they birthed the first order, the Titans. But even paradise has its shadows. Uranus, fearing his children's power, imprisoned them in the depths of Gaia's womb, the monstrous Hecatonchires, the Cyclopes with single blazing eyes. The earth cried in agony, and from her sorrow came rebellion. One Titan rose to the cry, Cronus, son of Gaia. With a sickle forged of unyielding adamant, he struck down his father, not for justice, but for power. The heavens bled. Uranus fell, and Cronus became king. But fate does not forget tyrants, and the blood of one fallen tyrant only feeds the roots of another. Cronus, now ruler of all, took Rhea as his queen. Together they birthed the gods, Hestia, Demeter, Hera, Hades, Poseidon. But Cronus had heard a whisper, a prophecy that he, like Uranus before him, would fall to one of his own sons. And so he did what tyrants do. He devoured them. One by one, as they were born, he swallowed them whole. Gods reduced to shadows within a god's gut. Olympus, the shining peak of divinity, was ruled by a fearful king, paranoid, ruthless, consumed by the prophecy that gnawed at his fate. But fate, like thunder, cannot be silenced. Rhea, aching with grief, turned to Gaia for a plan. When her sixth child was born, she swaddled a stone in cloth and gave it to Cronus. The king, blind in fear, devoured it, and the child, Zeus, was spirited away to the island of Crete. There, beneath the sacred boughs of Mount Ida, fate nursed its vengeance. Zeus grew not as a mortal boy does, but as a storm builds in the belly of a mountain. He was raised by the she-goat Amalthea, suckled by divine beasts, lulled by the beating of shield against shield, by the Curetes, warriors who drowned his cries from Cronus's ears. He climbed cliffs before he could walk. He called down rain before he spoke. In his eyes flickered lightning, in his breath the fire of Olympus. The earth taught him patience, the sky pride. The ocean whispered secrets to him. The stars watched with knowing silence. And in time, the boy became more than a god. He became a storm, waiting to strike. When Zeus had come of age, the stars aligned with fate. He descended from Mount Ida, cloaked not in silk, but in storm clouds. First, he freed his swallowed siblings, forcing Cronus to regurgitate Hestia, Demeter, Hera, Hades, and Poseidon. The Olympians stood once more, reborn, furious, divine. But Cronus would not yield. He rallied the Titans of old, Oceanus, Hyperion, Coeus, Crius, Iapetus, and mighty Atlas. The earth trembled beneath their march. Thus began the Titanomachy, 10 years of divine war. Thunder clashed with mountain, lightning scorched the seas, the heavens turned red with fire. Time itself bent under the weight of gods in rebellion. But Zeus did not fight alone. He descended into Tartarus and freed the Cyclopes and Hecatonchires, the very beings Cronus had buried in fear. In gratitude, the Cyclopes forged for Zeus a weapon, the thunderbolt, the purest essence of divine wrath. Poseidon claimed the trident, Hades, the helm of invisibility. Each god rose, armed not just with weapon, but with destiny. And when the final battle was waged upon Mount Othrys, the old seat of Titan power, Zeus hurled the thunderbolt with divine fury. Cronus fell. The Titans were chained in Tartarus, their cries echoing through eternity. A new order had risen, not born of fear, but of force, will, and fate. Zeus took the throne not as a gentle father, but as a ruler forged in war. He divided the cosmos with his brothers, to Poseidon the sea, to Hades the underworld, and to himself, the sky, the storm, Olympus. From the summit of Olympus, Zeus ruled not just with lightning, but with law. He became the keeper of oaths, the guardian of justice. Yet justice in the mouth of thunder is often raw. He took Hera as his queen, though love between gods is seldom tender. He fathered many, Athena from his skull, Apollo from desire, Ares from conflict, Hermes from mischief. His seed scattered fate across the mortal and divine worlds alike. But power breeds ambition. Giants rose in rebellion, mortals defied him. Even Prometheus, the firebringer, challenged his will. Each act of defiance met thunder, each threat a storm. For though Zeus had ended tyranny, he now defined it. He was justice. He was fate. And fate, though blind, sees with thunder. What then was Zeus? A liberator who became king. A tyrant cloaked in righteousness. A force of balance or of ego. In his rise, we see a cycle older than time, where the rebel becomes ruler, and the ruler must contend with rebellion. Zeus did not escape fate. He became its vessel. He did not end fear. He mastered it. But he was not cruel like Cronus, nor blind like Uranus. Zeus chose. He judged. He erred. He forgave. He punished. In this, Zeus is not just a god, but an eternal mirror of leadership, where every crown rests upon a storm cloud, and every decision cracks the sky. Zeus's thunder still echoes in the myths of men, not as mere weather, but as judgment. A lightning strike is not just a natural event. It is the sky remembering its king. Philosophers would later debate his nature. Was Zeus a metaphor, a myth, or a force in man's own soul? To Plato, perhaps Zeus was the form of divine authority, the invisible logic of leadership. To the Stoics, he was logos, divine reason amid chaos. To the tragic poets, he was the warning that power must never forget humility. And yet, every empire that rose in ancient times sought the thunderbolt, the symbol of rule, of fate mastered. Because Zeus was more than a being. He was order, born from rebellion, law, born from storm, power, tested by prophecy. Even now, when clouds darken and the heavens roar, some say Zeus is near, not as a god of temples, but of consequence. He lives in every leader who must choose justice over fear, in every revolution that births a new law. For the rise of Zeus is not just myth. It is memory, carved into the bones of civilization. A memory of how power, fate, and thunder dance in the sky above us all. From tyranny he rose, through thunder he ruled, and in fate he became eternal.